You think church members are a little bit more resistant than they have been in the past? Well, you might say, mine have always been resistant. I don't notice anything different. Well, as we are hearing from pastors around the world, of course, we hear more from American pastors, but we hear from around the world. We're getting that message. It seems like my members are more change resistant than ever. We think that there is some truth to that in many churches, and we're going to examine that in this podcast. So, welcome to the Church Answers podcast. My name is Thom Rainer, and we will be looking at that issue of change resistance. We want to thank Belay, our sponsor, and you've heard me say many times that Belay is kind of our right-hand person that equips and hires and brings to our virtual staff the most competent and qualified of people to serve, in our case, as assistants, but also in the case of other churches, bookkeepers or organizations, not just churches, and other roles as well. The people that they bring to you, let the leader do what the leader's called to do, and these people do the support work. And they are tremendous. That's why we keep going back to Belay again and again. If you haven't checked out their download, do that. It's called 25 Tasks a Pastor Can Delegate to an Assistant. Many of you probably have already done that, but you can download that, and you can get it at belaysolutions.com/Thom Rainer, or you can see it in the show notes. Okay, let's go to this question. Why are church members more change resistant than ever? I think the first answer is clearly the pandemic. The pandemic brought such massive change to the world and to America and to the churches that as a result, church members are holding on, clinging to the way things were because they have seen so many other things change. Change was a constant before the pandemic. Change became an exponential reality as a result of the pandemic. Just the other day, for example, I took two of my grandsons to downtown Nashville. Nellie Jo and I did. And while we were in downtown Nashville, we went to the Grand Ole Opry. We went to the Country Music Hall of Fame. We went a lot of places. I'm not going to try to name them all to you. But I used to work in downtown Nashville, and it had changed dramatically as well. And so we're walking around. I'm pointing out different buildings to them. There's so many new buildings. But one of the things I was just absolutely amazed at is the number of buildings that had for lease. And it used to be so hard to find lease space in downtown Nashville. Well, now office space is available fairly easy in some of the previously tough markets. Things have changed. And the pandemic has been such a change that year 2020 just brought on this desire to hold on. And many church members are holding on, maybe too tightly, to some of the things they need to let go. The second reason is that decline is frightening. Got an email today from a church that was really a plea. I felt badly for them because they talked about the rapid decline in their church. They talked about, please come help us. Is there any hope for us? They talked about the pain that they were feeling. And of course, we're going to do everything we can to help them. But just to read the pain that was present in those words was very palpable and powerful. Churches are seeing decline at an incredible pace. Just to give you one example, one denomination, the Southern Baptist Convention. The Southern Baptist Convention, if you use 2019 and 2022 as comparisons, the aggregate worship attendance of their churches is down 28%. The aggregate small group attendance is down 28%. The number of conversions is down almost 30%. And that's just comparing 2019 to 2022. Decline is frightening. And many churches are experiencing that. And that fright is resulting in a tenacity to hold on to things instead of letting go. When you're frightened, you tend to cling instead of release. And that is what is taking place in a number of these churches. A third reason is that culture is frightening. Culture is frightening. How many times do you hear Christians that I don't even recognize the world that we're in. And you see the difference in sexual mores, and you see the difference in moral issues where sin is called okay and okay is called sin. And it's just frightening to many people. And as a result, that's another fright upon fright, another fear upon fear. And so many people are clinging and holding on to anything we cannot change because everything else is changing around us. The church is declining. The pandemic has brought about change. And now culture, it is one of the most hostile places so many Christians feel. I just want to hold on to the things in my church because the world sure is not friendly to me. And a fourth thing that is very real, but so many churches are doing few churches are doing anything about it, is a lack of an outward focus. One of the ways that we become less change resistant, or to put it positively, more change receptive, is we start looking beyond ourselves. We start looking to the world. We start looking to the community. We start trying to serve others. We serve God more fully. The more a church is outward focused, the more that it is change receptive. But the result of so many of these things that I've mentioned in the first 3 points is that the churches are turning inward instead of outward. I want you to check out the Hope Initiative. The Hope Initiative is something we recently introduced, and it's this 30-day challenge to get your church moving from inwardly focused to outwardly focused. And it is having a tremendous impact in many churches right now. And I would just commend you to look at it and to get it. And it is so easy to get just a few people to go through a 30-day challenge and to see what God will do. So do you think that many people in your church are more change resistant? Does it feel that way? The answer is it probably does, because it's probably a reality. And that reality of the pandemic ushering in great change, the decline causing fear, the cultural issues causing fear, and the lack of an outward focus are causing churches to really hang on and cling when they need to let go. Look at that. Look at the Hope Initiative. We think that that is one way churches can get beyond this and move on to the next level. Thank you, as always, for being a part of the Church Answers podcast. Once again, my name is Thom Rainer. Our sponsor is Belay. We are so grateful that they are founding and only sponsor thus far, and we're grateful for their ministry and their partnership in ministry with us. Don't forget to download 25 Tasks a Pastor Can Delegate to an Assistant. You can get that at belaysolutions.com/Thom Rainer, or you can simply click on the show notes. Remember, we're releasing 3 podcasts at one time, so this is one of those 3, and we have 2 others that you can listen to this week as well. The next one that we'll be talking about, if you haven't already listened to it, depends on what order you are, is the spiritual immaturity of a church member protesting by not giving financially. Hey, folks, this is a PS to our podcast. We got some exciting stuff that we want to offer you absolutely for free. Sam, when you think about predictive factors in a church's growth, if you take out demographics, what are some things that come to mind? Just 2. I mean, don't give me a list of 10. Just 2 or 3 things that come to mind on predictive growth of a church.
Well, evangelism and whether the church is doing it or not.
Bingo.
And then I will add, is it an ongoing evangelism emphasis?
Double bingo. Well. Maybe something about leadership and their commitment to that. So all of the above.
Evangelistic churches have evangelistic pastors. Is the staff, is the lead pastor doing the work themselves?
We have a free download for you, and it's actually a sheet that you can self-score. You answer 20 questions, anywhere from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And we come back and we predict what your growth rate is going to be for the next year in worship attendance. It's not a perfect tool, but it's a good tool. There's a link to that for the attendance predictor. Look in the show notes. You'll absolutely love it. That's cool. We'll see you soon.